Hello beautiful beings, and welcome back to the Realm of Inspiration, and happy spring equinox. It is time to do the channeling for the spring equinox, so I'm going to call forth the Elfian Elemental Elder to step forth and give us guidance for this season ahead. It is spring 2026 for the Northern Hemisphere, and it is time to see what messages at this time are for the collective all. So without further ado, I'm going to now invite in the Divine Feminine Earthian Elfian Elemental Elder, last assistant to Gaia as well in her title. It's like searching things in a computer. You got to be very specific to make sure you get the right being. Please step forth, being from the Elfian Realm, being of inspiration, to help us, messages for our highest good, what we need to know, not what we want to hear, for the betterment of our ascension, to inspire us on our journey. We have the Guardians of the Veil and the Guardians of Sacred Spaces and the Guardian Angels all around us, ensuring true divine protection. Only messages of divine light and love will flow through today, as always, from the beings of inspiration. So, Earthian Elfian Elemental Elder, please step forth when I have safely stepped back. Hello. I am an Earthian Elfian Elemental. I am the Earthian Elfian Elemental Elder, Divine Feminine energy, of course. Happy spring season, everybody. It is time for the rebirth, time for the change, time for the letting go, adjusting, and adapting to the new reality around you. And what a perfect time for this equinox here, because Mercury has started to go direct. Mercury is going direct right in time for the spring season, so it is the time period where the effects of the retrograde test are reaching you all now. So if you chose fear during the retrograde period, don't worry, there is still time for you to learn the lessons that you were meant to learn, and to take the rebirth that is upon you and go full ahead into the next phase of your life, the next chapter, not the next full entire phase, but the next little chapter in a big phase. So it's time for you to move forward and let go of all the toxic weight that no longer serves you. This year, spring in the fire horse. Spring in the fire horse. Well, that is transformative. All of the seasons in this year, because the fire horse, stability and spiritual direction, higher truth, anchoring in to yourself, rooting yourself, finding your safety, finding your stability, finding your tribe, and pushing ahead without lies, without deceit, without jealousy, without judgment, without all of these things that weigh the soul down. Grounding is not weighing you down. Grounding is lifting you up and pushing you forward in the right direction. There is a difference. You might have a false sense of being grounded when it's really you being weighed down. And the difference is you feel drained. When you feel grounded, you actually have energy, you can move, you can feel like you can fly. When you are being weighed down, you feel exhausted, you feel drained, you cannot move. This is the difference. It is grounded, not grounded. It is you're being held down and in one way, but it is not the true essence of grounding. Grounding gives you the strength to go ahead in your ascension journey, the strength for your healing, the strength for your development. When you are weighed down, you may feel like, oh, well, I feel maybe I'm grounded, I'm connected, I'm here, but my legs hurt, I'm exhausted, I don't know what's going on, I don't really have a lot of energy, I'm unmotivated, I'm uninspired. When something is weighing you down and taking your energy and draining you, you are uninspired, which means you are not able to connect to the spirit in the way that you should, which means that you are not able to push ahead in your ascension and healing journey. You're not able to grow, you're not able to evolve, you're not able to heal, you're not able to feel happy. To feel happy, to feel joy, to feel contentment. You must let go of what's weighing you. Here is how you can know what's weighing you will cause pain. What's weighing you will cause pain. Now, there's different things, some things where you're like, You might have to, get a blood test to check your health. And it's like there's a little bit of pain, but it's not very long, and it's more painful the more afraid you are of it, because if you're scared and you're anticipating, it makes it worse. But that little bit of pain, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to long pain. And this pain is spiritual exhaustion, not spiritual sloth, not spiritual burnout. Spiritual burnout is when you overwork yourself and you are overdraining yourself. So you need to regroup your energy. Spiritual sloth is when you are ignoring your soul entirely, so you're feeling exhausted because you are ignoring your spiritual journey. Spiritual exhaustion is when someone is draining your energy. These three things are important to understand. So you want to have a balance. Beautiful souls, a balance. Here, spiritual burnout. Spiritual burnout feels like you are unmotivated, you are uninspired, you don't like anything that you're doing, you hate doing things for your soul, you hate everything that has to do with spiritual connection, you are burnt out, you are exhausted, you don't like anything that you're doing at all, you start to become very pessimistic with life. This is burnout. Why? Because you're overextending yourself, you're overexhausting yourself, you have no energy left to give for you and what works for you, what rejuvenates your soul, because you've given it all away. So what you do is, I reclaim what is mine to return back to me cleared and cleansed. Every single morning, every single day, I call on the violet flame and the flame of truth to remove from me what no longer serves me, to take it and transmute it and cleanse it. And in return, Source returns me what is mine, cleared and cleansed, my original excellence. I'm calling back all my missing pieces to me. No one has a right to hold my energy. It is my energy. Nobody gets to keep it from me. I'm reclaiming my energy back to me. And if I've taken anyone else's energy, I return it to them, because I do not want it, only what is mine. Affirm, affirm, affirm. Spiritual sloth. I don't need to tell you symptoms for this. You would not be watching this video if you had spiritual sloth. Maybe you might. But spiritual sloth it's a different sort of turn off from everything with spirituality. It's just like, but like, why anyway? It doesn't matter anyway. I'm just going to take the easy way out. Might as well. It's okay. It doesn't matter anyway. It's a different kind of pessimism, where you're like, I don't need to grow. I don't need to heal. Spiritual burnout is you've done work to heal, to grow, to evolve, and you're kind of feeling exhausted because you've given so much energy out there. But it's not that you're entirely pessimistic to the prospect of healing. It's just, in general, life just becomes, you get to that point. You start to get to spiritual sloth. Spiritual burnout can cause spiritual sloth. Spiritual sloth is the pitfall of a lot of humanity. And then spiritual exhaustion, where someone is draining your energy, where you feel the inspiration to work on the things that resonate with your soul, but when you go to do it, you just can't. It's not that you don't want to, it's that you feel like you can't. You feel like you don't have enough strength. God, give me strength. Archangel Uriel, give me strength, give me strength. Tiger's Eye, give me strength, give me strength. I feel like I don't have strength. That is because your energy, your vitality is being drained by something weighing you down. Could be a relationship, could be a situation, could be anything that is weighing you down. These can end up causing spiritual sloth undetected, untreated, unfocused on. So, treated is for burnout and the exhaustion. You reclaim your energy back to you. Both cases reclaim your energy back to you. Banish what is not in alignment with you. Clear and cleanse your aura of what is not in alignment with you. If you just let it sit, it can cause spiritual sloth, and that is then you falling again, and you have to reawaken again and go through the whole process of everything again from the beginning, like you did the first time, or the second time, or the third time. And that's essentially reincarnation, because you go through the same process again if you choose to go and but that's more your choice to go and reincarnate for lessons. When you fall into spiritual sloth, it's your choice to do that, but you're not doing it with the intention of, again, reawakening, but that's the process. That's the process. And you can never fully forget. Once you've awoken, you can never fully go to sleep all the way. You can't fully forget. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be in the back of your mind. But what if? What if I tried that again? What if I connected to my intuition again? What if I connected to nature again? What if, spirituality is so deep. It is not just candles and crystals and cards. Spirituality is connecting to nature. It is conservation of nature. It is working with animals. It is working with the world around you. It's working with people. It is the essence of following the soul. Whatever your soul is feeling called to do, it is breaking free of the 9-to-5 rat race matrix of your reality that you all created to entrap yourselves. This is a human choice. We are to inspire you to create a new reality where you are not trapping yourself. You are giving yourself room to fly. You're giving yourself room to grow. You're giving yourself room to flow. That's important in this spring season. Like, in general, these messages are just for the spring season. This is not like just doing a reading of the spring, which I could do. I could tell you that there's a lot of color auras and related to spring, a lot of purples, lots of greens, lots of this, but you see that with the months, you see that with the other things. With this specific season, in general, the spring is allowing you to blossom, allowing you to grow, and if you are to blossom, you must let go of the things that are preventing you from blooming in who you are. And this is a general with the spring season, and whenever it comes to you, this is the essence of the rebirth. You must let go in order to bloom. You must let go in order to bloom. You must shed the things that no longer serve you to bloom into who you really are, because you can't see who you are if you're being blinded by things that are not in alignment with you. It clouds your vision, it clouds your energy, and then you're feeling, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what to do next. Understand, beautiful beings? This is what's important to know. Another thing to note is, it's very important that you all understand, at this time, egos are facing off with each other. Do not allow the fear of your ego to prevent you from using your soul to help change where things are heading. If you feed the fear, it grows. If you ignore the fear, it disappears. So what I mean is, there's a lot of fear-mongering going on in your reality, a lot of people trying to create a lot of fear, trying to use their egos for the pride, for the glory, for the arrogance, and creating fear in the process. If you succumb to the fear, then you will manifest that which you fear. If you realize, no, we don't need to repeat history, we don't need to be doing these things, we can communicate, we can do things a different way. We don't have to use anger, we don't have to use hate, we don't have to use fear, and we do not have to do things for the desires of the ego. The inspirations of the soul is what must be followed. You're at a crossroads, humanity. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. There's never a wrong path, but there is a harder path. And the harder path is not the path that you think. It's easier to do your shadow work. It's easier to face your fears, because the more and more people in the collective that choose their healing journey, their ascension journey, and helping the earth heal, the collective heal, and the collective ascend, the less time the collective suffers. The easy route that might seem easy for you, let me just do this, let me just contribute to all of these negative things that are negatively impacting nature and the world. It's a bit easier if I don't say anything. It's a bit easier if I just I work in the warehouses that are making the things that don't decompose, that start polluting the earth and harming the animals. It's easier, I make more money, it's gonna be easier for me. It's not easier for the collective. You can choose. It's up to you. It's up to you. And the choices that you make, it's up to you. Just what's easy for the ego is hard for the soul. What's easy for the soul is hard for the ego. Even if it seems hard, shadow work, whatever, it's easier for the soul, because in the long run, You will spend more time in peace, you'll spend more time in happiness, you'll spend more time experiencing life. That being said, this is the final message for spring of the solar year 26 and the fire horse. Goodbye for now. Ooh. There was a lot of shifting of energy going on. Lots of visuals, lots of very interesting things. Recovering our energy is important. Recovering our energy is important. I have gathered this message. I have understood this in a very, very clear way. So I have written an article about this, and I shared it on the community tab, but I will mention now as well, and because I'm going to try to normalize this in the work that I'm doing, because eventually I will be doing channelings directed towards this. So in February, I was diagnosed with type 1A diabetes mellitus. This was a shock. And I shared, and I will link in the description of this video, that article as well that I wrote about my experience with it. And once a month I will be writing on the Medium platform about my experience with it and the spiritual aspects of it. I'm learning very, very much the importance of not overspending your energy, understanding a lot. There's a lot of things that I am uncovering to share. Eventually, I'll work on more projects with it too. You know, there is the spiritual side of it, there is the physical side of it, there's the mental, there's the emotional, there's every level of it. And, you know, I understand what she was referring to about the pain that is harmful and the pain that is fleeting and is more just like a general thing, because you're having to take insulin, you know, having to poke myself a lot, having had a deep fear of needles before that point. Still working on it, it's an adjustment, overcoming fear, and knowing that how I felt before, I was like everything. I was spiritual burnout, spiritual exhaustion, and spiritual sloth. I don't know if it's possible to be all three at once, but I was all three at once. I don't know necessarily spiritual sloth exactly, because I was still connecting, I was still asking, I was still channeling, I wouldn't say sloth, but definitely burnout, definitely exhaustion, definitely like, I mean, even now I still feel like my knees are recovering from, I had a lot of muscle weakness and joint pain, and I was in a lot of physical pain. After the diagnoses, and I'm learning and adjusting, I still had some draining situations that were weighing me down. As soon as I let them go, as soon as I said goodbye, suddenly I have a burst of energy like never before. Suddenly I'm understanding how my body works, how the insulin works, how, you know, my calculations work, how this new, it's from an autoimmune, this now new thing is working in my body. Now, I have autoimmune, it's not that there's something wrong, it's not a punishment, it is a different level. There's our souls and our bodies work a little bit differently. And I'm learning this, I'm understanding this, and coming forward in the next few months, I will be doing, you know, channeled series with the head healer of, you know, alignment and all of the things that I've channeled before that were kind of general, and I'm going to get specific and go back and say for the autoimmune, and it's a little different. But that to be said, I understand that, like, I was like, even after I understood what was wrong physically, and I'm like, I have the treatment, I know what to do, I'm building confidence in this, and I still feel a little drained. I still feel a little weighed down. Oh, there are these situations from this other phase of my life. Before this, now I'm in a new phase. Now I've entered a new phase of my life with this new thing, and this is my future. And I'm still carrying things that were hurting me in the previous phase, and I'm trying to make them work now. As soon as they're gone, I have like so much more energy. I'm like, I'm happier, I'm more inspired, and I'm more connected to my soul, because when it's weighing you down, you can't feel the true essence of who you are. And so I'm sharing this to say that if there is something, and I was so scared to let it go, I was so scared to let these relationships, a specific relationship, go, because I had held on to it for so long, it was so familiar, and I didn't want to. I simply didn't want to, and, you know, realizing, okay, but every time I do a channeling, every time I set my intention for a day, it's what I need, not what I want. The ego wants, the soul needs. It's what I need. You know, sometimes your needs and your wants, they can align. They can match, but not always. And that situation, I didn't need it, and I had to let it go. And I thought that I was gonna feel sad, but as soon as I let it go and I said goodbye, I got this surge of energy back to me, and I feel like more myself from like years ago. Like not even like, you know, pre undiagnosed period. Like, I mean, the entire year of 2025, I think I was, you know, getting to the point of getting to the pre-diagnosed period, the undiagnosed time, and then, you know, getting to this point. I feel like myself from before that point, from when I first started channeling, that same excitement of, that I had felt like I had lost for like an entire year. And for multiple reasons, and mainly for situations that I was holding on to that were draining me, because basically, if I look at when this relationship had started, until I ended it, during that period of time, I was feeling a bit lost. It wasn't meant for me. It took me a long time to accept that reality, but realizing I'm never going to fully have inner child integration. I'm never going to fully move forward into the next phase of my life. I'm never going to fully understand myself if I'm putting all of my energy and giving my soul to someone, into a situation that is weighing me down. And I understood this as the lesson from the winter season, and the lesson moving forward is this affects, we have to make those choices, and do I really want this? And you don't know, like I've been crying and trying to maintain it, and you know, while I'm also dealing with this like now life-changing thing. I mean, when I got diagnosed, I mean, I was at the very end of the undiagnosed period. I was, you know, diabetic ketoacidosis at the very end of the time of being undiagnosed. Like, it was very serious. That's why I say, your guardian angel is there. I asked my ancestors to take away the problem. And I just in the right timing, everything worked out in divine timing, but still feeling that like, hey, what could possibly be making me feel this way? Because it's not physical. And it's not, and now I feel better, and I feel like the release. So I still have, like, with my knees a little bit, with my earth star a little bit, just still releasing, still grounding into a reality where I don't have this heavy situation, but in general, so much more energy. And that's the point. Like, I feel I have been able to do way more channelings, I've been able to do way more things, I've been able to really feel connected to life, connected to nature, and in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. So I'm saying, take my testimony, listen, because these beings, they have been guiding me, they have been helping me, they have been inspiring me for 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, actually, almost. We're getting there, 6, 7, 8 years, like, I mean, my entire life, but, yeah, mainly 6 years, but, you know, there's been there my entire life, but, you know, when I started connecting to them, exactly, the human time doesn't matter. What matters is they have been with me for a big chunk of my life, and since I've been listening to the guidance of the Elfian Realm, since I've been listening to the archangels, and I've been listening to Source, I've been listening to Creator, I've been listening to the Guardian of Life God, I've been listening to Gaia, I've been listening to all of the higher being energy that is coming forth, so stepping forth, and each day asking Source to give me my energy back to me, to give me my excellence, to guide me in how He wishes for me to complete my missions and purpose. I feel better even with this like massive change that occurred. Like, as soon as I'm like, I am not concerned with like, I have this diagnosis, I have this thing, okay, I'm okay with that. I'm more like, I don't want to poke myself with a needle, like that part, I don't want to do it. I know that I have to take insulin, I know that I have to, you know, check my glucose level, I know I have to monitor it, I know I have to have a monitor, like, I know these things, I don't want to, but that's not me not, I'm accepting the diagnosis, just like, is there any other way to treat this thing? Like, more so, because I had spent so much time already building that spiritual strength of like, I know that this isn't a punishment, I know this isn't a reflection of what I'm doing, I know that this is likely, I chose this to learn a lesson as a soul, and not a lesson that is like a punishment, but a lesson in general. So it's taking that, I know that you cannot have your strength of character if you're putting all of your vitality into building up somebody else's strength and not taking any time for yourself, because that is exactly what I was doing, and it's not worth it, because at the end of the day, they're, at the end of the day, when you start to assert boundaries, they're going to turn on you. You're going to start to feel worthless, and it's never worth it. You should never, and I know I have said this before, I've channeled this before, I've heard this before, you should never sacrifice your soul for somebody else. Do I listen to this always? No, but we are learning. At the end of this Mercury retrograde, I am finally learning to listen to every advice, not just the advice that I like, because sometimes, I would say most of the time I'm really good about it, but I have a few moments where I'm just like, okay, whatever. And those are typically moments when I'm already feeling drained and exhausted, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna ignore. No, when you're feeling drained and exhausted, get your energy back and don't ignore. Just saying. I'm going to work on being also keeping things more candid and doing things more clairaudiently moving forward as well, and sharing more, and just having this balance of I'm channeling, I'm doing clairaudient things, I'm doing card readings, I'm doing whatever, and I'm also me as well. And the Elfian Realm is like, you're more than just a communicator, you're Kastalia, you are you have your story, your things to share, and as well as channeling. So there's going to be so much more of that. Speaking of, check out the second channel, Ancient Awakening with me, where I go into the spiritual metaphors hidden in myths, specifically the myths of my ancestors, Greek mythology. So that being said, sending you love, light, and inspiration. Stay inspired. I am hoping more in the future, now that the weather is getting better, to go to some places and do some channelings again here in Greece. So to go to other places, I have a few lists of things. So there's lots of channeling. My calendar is full of channelings. So this spring, it is going to be a rebirth and resurgence of really connecting to inspiration for the soul. And I encourage you to do that within yourself. And if you feel like you have something you want to share it, and don't be ashamed and don't be afraid to share your story with anything. And I hope that you are inspired by anything at all, and anything that I do is that's my goal in sharing about the diagnosis, to sharing about this new thing, a part of my life, is that you feel inspired to share your experiences, because every experience can help somebody learn something about themselves. So that is it for spring. Many more videos to come, and hopefully by the summer we have released all the heavyweights. So that being said, goodbye for now. Love and light, beautiful beings.